Look inside Yemen now as the Iranian-backed Houthi rebels continue to wreak havoc on global shipping with missile attacks they claim are in solidarity with the people of Gaza. Well, Channel 12's Ohad Hemo got a rare glimpse into Tehran's well-funded efforts to get poverty-stricken Yemenis to support the Houthis and direct their hatred at Israel, a country thousands of kilometers away. Take a look.
We are now at the gate of Yemen, in the capital of Yemen, Sana'a. Hello Ohad Hemo's followers and the viewers from Israel.
A greeting from the heart of a hostile Arab country is an unusual event, but nonetheless, there is one man willing to speak with us from a country that literally has engraved on its flag calls for the destruction of Israel.
Good evening to the Israeli viewers. Here we are leaving with a huge march from Kalan al-Sharaf to support the Palestinian people and their fighters.
He is a Yemeni citizen who lives in the heart of Houthi-controlled Yemen. He opposes their rule and acts alone, armed with a camera. He risks his life and enters demonstrations in support of the Houthis, surrounded by armed men who chant death to Israel.
We are currently in a demonstration in the Kalan al-Sharaf area. We've organized a demonstration here in support of our Palestinian brothers.
At the beginning of the war, we saw these pictures, almost 2,000 kilometers from Israel, in a far and impoverished southern tip of the Arabian Peninsula, soldiers and volunteers preparing for war against Israel. At first, it seems ridiculous. What relation do we have with them? Without a common border, a lack of history of war, these images are seen as far-fetched. This was our starting point for the story, but what we found out was that among the mountains grew a whole society characterized by hatred of Israel, and those ready to act in the name of this hatred. Immediately after that came the firing of ballistic missiles and UAVs, making the 1,600-kilometer journey towards Israel. The Houthis have entered the war.
There are millions in North Yemen. All of them speak one language: hatred of Israel.
Let's talk about what appears to be an absolute Houthi obsession with Israel. What is the Houthis' connection to Israel?
Part of their ideological view is also related to a very strong anti-Israel sentiment, also with an anti-Semitic and anti-Jewish and anti-American dimensions. In this sense, October 7th suited the Houthis very well, and they're currently gaining a lot of sympathy. They're making gains in the Arab world and within Yemen, even from those who oppose them. And it seems they're not really paying a price for their actions right now.
I don't know how many armies in the world can launch a coordinated barrage like the Houthis launched at the state of Israel at a range of thousands of kilometers, both missiles and UAVs, these capabilities that are already found in advanced armies. Therefore the Houthis have definitely acquired for themselves enormous capabilities and knowledge, most of which came from Iran.
We are filming from the capital of Yemen, Sana'a. The economic situation is very bad, and there is a fear of some kind of outbreak in the streets because of the economic situation. People are tired and oppose wars. People are discouraged that after the war with Saudi Arabia is over, Yemen could enter into another war with America and Israel. This is about the ordinary people who oppose the Houthis. Those who support the Houthis are interested in war, even if the entire nation is killed and everything is destroyed. We are now on 60th Street near Sana'a University. These signs say, "Boycott American and Israeli products."
When I asked him to photograph evidence of anti-Israel sentiment in the streets of Sana'a, I received countless examples in a moment. It's everywhere, he says. These signs about boycotting Israeli and American goods. This is the Houthi flag, on which is written, "Death to Israel, death to America, God curse the Jews."
We're at Square 70, the People's Mosque, the Salah Mosque. Used to be called the Salah Mosque, today it's called the People's Mosque.
Al-Aqsa Flood, the name of the war in the Arab world, hangs here next to a picture from Gaza. And of course, these are the maps. Like here, where he sent me a picture of the demonstrations from a central square in Sana'a. The map says it all.
There are no Iranians on the Yemeni streets, or Lebanese or Hezbollah supporters, but on the military side there is military training and experts assisting even if they are not visible. The reality is that they exist and are rooted in with the Houthis.
This is time to put a big asterisk here. With all due respect, This is a distant enemy, and not so relevant to fighting with Israel, so there is no reason to worry, but it is still worth getting to know this enemy and understand that it is nothing less than an obsession.
In addition to the military assessments, every 2 days, the Houthis here find a new batch of soldiers from the People's Committees, or the so-called People's Army. They volunteer for war in preparation for any war that may or may not come.
And there is the most important front related to the Houthis that is already affecting the whole world. After the damage to ships allegedly connected to Israel in the Red Sea, the Houthi threat to attack such ships comes from another front, the Mediterranean Sea even.
Even when we don't hear that the Houthis fire or attack naval targets, they do it, between 1 missile and 3 a week.
In order to sink these ships?
The ship does not have to sink. The fact that the freedom of navigation is vulnerable, due to the damage to the shipping lanes, 20% of the world's supplies travel there. This is a significant enough statement, and the vessel does not have to be damaged.
I'm not sure that the provocation of the Houthis, at least not in the arena of the seas, will stop when an agreement is reached between Israel and Hamas. I think that the Houthis have tasted success in a way that perhaps they did not expect it. They also have ambitions to revive a religious state.
Are you surprised that the world didn't really stand on its hind legs and fight back against the Houthis because of this threat?
I thought it would be more significant, but I think the world also understood that in order to harm such a terrorist army, it is not enough that you only deal with defense. It is not enough that you only protect vessels sailing at sea. You also have to go to mow the grass. Then it may also be an underground entrance.
We are now in the Al-Dis district in the east of the Yemeni Republic. We are now going to hear the opinion of the people here about the Houthi militia.
These interviews were filmed for us in the last few days in other parts of Yemen, in areas that oppose the Houthis. Here, there is still no love for Israel, of course, but in Mikbat, there is a great hostility towards the Houthis.
Why are the Houthis so hostile to Israel?
الحوثي لم يعد إسرائيل. الناس دين يركزوا على غزة ومعاناة غزة. قلنا هذا التمثيلية ومسرحية. إيران وأمريكا وإسرائيل كلهم عملة ذات وجه واحد. ما يعادوا إسرائيل، هم إخوان إسرائيل. الحوثيين والصهاينة هم جماعة واحدة. والحوثي هو أصلا من حوث. وحوث أكثر من ثلثينها يهود. يدعون الموت لامريكا والموت لاسرائيل انهم يحاربون اهل الاسلام. دعوه باطله هذا انهم ضد اليهود، ليس ضد اليهود، لانهم متفقين على الاسلام هم اليهود مع بعض.
The Yemenis cannot understand how they will enter this war while the Houthis declare that they are ready for this war. The mountains and warehouses, all of these full of weapons, whether ballistic or heavy or light weapons. Those who oppose the Houthis cannot express their opinion in public, especially since recently the Houthis arrested several important people just because they opposed the war, or because they published posts warning against participating in the war in Gaza.
A rare look inside Yemen. Now, the